G, and Sadicist.
Seems like you ran out of fire for that throw.
That's sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you just go with it, right? You can be polite. You can be normal. We can be normal every now and then.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
For one day.
Yeah, we can pretend to be normal. I don't know if we can be.
Well,
or are we?
I'm just looking at the ninth result. It looks like NiP won that. So they're just on the CT side of overpass. Now that is nice. They are going to be very happy with that. They're already up on North's map pick. They actually almost dismantled them on Nuke, and like Chad points out, lost both pistols as well. So on the CD side of overpass, this bodes very well for them.
That's actually a super good point that they lost both pistols as well because of how good their CT side was to shut down North.
Yes.
If they won that CT-sided pistol, T-sided pistol's fine, okay, you get the momentum, but if you had won CT-sided pistol, that game would have just been boom, done, over. Like that's a really good job, and they recovered it and did the same on the T side, which is equally as impressive, if not greater. You're right, starting CT side, they've got a great record on this map. It is their map choice. It's going to be a tough battle for North. Not going to rule them out of it, but it's going to be a very, very tough battle. We've got a pause right off the start, which is obviously not tactical, so small issue I imagine they're going to try and resolve, which gives us a little more time to talk about a few things. One, AWPs. A little bit more. Nuke, there's a lot of positions where it's extremely viable, CT-sided more so. Overpass, it's more viable on both sides, and I put more emphasis on it.
And both these AWPs pretty inexperienced, right? Both of them like around 20 years old. Both been playing for Draken's been in NiP for exactly a year now. Murd still in his rookie year, like just about got into North a couple of months ago. So they both posted pretty poor performances on Nuke, but we're expecting much bigger things here. It should be quite a tantalizing battle here. As we get into it, though, it is going to be the pistol to kick things off. We're going to see that P250 from Valda. You're going to have two smokes, Molotovs, and CTs getting positioned towards the connector. They're actually heading towards Long North, and it's up to Draken. Everyone's Dennis right now on the camera. It's a little bit confusing. There we go. Draken now with the USP, he needs to get at least one hit, does that, bomb down, might be able to get a little bit more, he's got a couple of bullets left in the USP, that's about as good as it was going to get, Matt, so well played to him. 4 versus 3 now, that's the bomb rumbled, and it's up to the CTs to try and find the remaining frag. I would say this is must win for North, considering their track record on Overpass currently, and how good NiP looks on Nuke, this is a pistol they need.
Mertz down the stairs. Has MSL with him. MSL gets the kill straight up, but Rez is at the other end of the hallway, and they were not expecting it, so he gets the kill immediately thereafter and drops the bomb. MSL has to try and do what he can to recover. He's got AZ to defend his backside. And hold from anyone coming out of B. Rez had a monster, especially the first half of a game on Nuke. He's off to a great start this time around. Huge impact on both of his kills, and this time the bomb actually gets closer to him, and AZ's got bigger problems. He'll try and work toward it. Rez closes it. All headshots, 3 kills for him, and it's 1-0 NiP.
Very comfortable start there. Shout out to Draken. He handled that pressure efficiently. Like we said, he had 2 bullets left in his USP. If he got 1 more kill, that should win them the round. Absolutely did. If he went down with just 1, North probably go towards that A-bomb site. But they fell back, and that's where they met Dennis. They took him down, but Rez stepped up once again. 3 more kills. It's the young guns. Draken and Rez finding all the kills there. Always great to see that happen. Like I said, both those guys coming from Epsilon to the latter stages of 2017. NiP went out on a bit of a whim to pick them up, and it worked amazingly for Oakland. That's where Rez really had his swan song event. But we're starting to see some of that form come in just in time for Starladder here. We'll see whether he can continue it for other tournaments. Either way, here we go, the force buy from North, no bomb being planted, and Rez continues to find kills as he takes down Kiabi. That'll be the first, and he'll fall back. That's the correct thing to do. Don't need that bloodlust. A lot of the younger players will find themselves going for more and more kills once they find themselves up against pistols. They found a nice clean kill to kick things off. You want to maintain this advantage now. Play off your teammates and apply the pressure towards North. It's exactly what he's done. Funnel them back towards B. This is great. They've actually got 3 players on this side of the map. So Dennis, Get Right, and indeed Forrest waiting in towards B. There's no utility to speak of for the North boys. Look at that flashbang. That couldn't be more perfect as Get Right looks towards short. They'll have a bit of trouble here. He'll fall back with the flash. It should be very comfortable though for the Ninjas. I don't expect them to lose maybe more than 1 or 2 kills. Maybe if that keeps happening though, Get Right could be in a bit of bother here, but handled nicely. Just 1 kill given away. Lovely shot from AZ, I have to say, but wasn't quite enough to get the bomb down. That's going to be 3-0 for NiP, considering this is the full eco with just Glocks and maybe a P250 or 2. So far so good for NiP. Their map pick and the absolute best start you could hope for. I think that covers all the bases.
Yeah. Just got to knock it out of the park now.
Indeed. So, let's have a look at the scoreboard. Very early days, only 3 kills in total for North. And this is the round where you're just like, well, let's just rush somewhere. Hope we can maybe trade out a kill. Get a cheeky plant in. They'll rush towards middle. They actually get more than they bargained for. An opening kill maybe a second here. Draken needs to be very careful. Doesn't have to challenge much more, but he's got the CZ out. He's going to be able to handle it nicely. This is what we discussed this yesterday when Draken was having that poor performance on train.
He had a very poor performance.
If he has this sort of start where he gets some anti-eco frags, they get the 3-0, his confidence starts to build up, I feel like you'll have a good performance from him on this map. It's like, I used to be very similar to that. If you can have that great start, and then you feel like, okay, now I've got a bit of, we can afford to take some risks here. I can go for some picks. I feel like he'll have a much stronger performance now. He's actually got some decent frags for the start. No one's going to be focusing on him. He's 6-1 right now. So let's see whether that rings true and it translates to a good performance from him. I'm quite interested in the psychology behind that.
So Mertz with the AWP. Going to work into the playground. He's already bypassed the initial threat of cross at the fountain, and you're right, that nade was fantastic.
Yeah.
Damage significantly dealt to 3 players.
Yeah. This has been a massive talking point in CSGO. While you were away, like Astralis have really defined how AT grenades could be used. Like they were doing like 1,200 damage per half of HE grenades. It was pretty nuts, and I've really been focusing. Yeah, I was about to say that sounds a bit much.
That's like some Warcraft 3 mod stuff right there.
Yeah, the all grenades coming in. So they've been doing that. So we've been focusing a lot more on HE grenades. It's kind of a new thing to talk about. It's quite cool. Rez will be getting the kill and response. So a little bit disappointed. Where's the smoke? Where's the flash? Where's anything towards the bathroom? Luckily, they will trade it out, so they'll maintain the man advantage. But still, 3 players, which are very wounded indeed. Draken not going to be on the AWP just yet. He will be fighting for the next kill, knowing that they've got their disadvantage right now. Wants to try and see whether he can just get one more back. They'll head towards B.
First flash that Draken very efficiently dodged was from his teammate Get Right from down below. He was trying to get Draken further up inside of the bathrooms. Flash anyone outside of them. Instead, they went back down through connector. 1 for 1. Forrest knows bomb is being planted. Damage is significant as he hits AZ and then closes him off as well. And MSL is only on 4 HP. He refuses to leave the place in which he planted the bomb because he doesn't have much availability of movement. And he's going to have even less knowing that Forrest and Draken are pinching from either side. And it goes 4-0 for NiP. They win the first gun round as well.
Well done to Forrest. That's all him. With the FAMAS coming in, very patient. You can see that's class there when he realizes he's got to play a pincer on the bomb site. He doesn't have to overcommit. Doesn't have to run in. He wants to deal with the threats that are otherwise around the player he's focusing on there. Make sure he gets a player towards Monster. Doesn't run towards him at that point. He's got backup coming towards short from the connector. Waits for that, and they go together. They make sure it's impossible for MSL to even get 2 amazing shots on the low HP he has. They punish him for the fact that he can't move off the bomb site. And it will be a plan for North, and maximum loss bonus coming in next round. But for now, they'll take a partial buy here, the CZ. Normally head towards B on these sort of rounds, but for now they're going to head towards middle. Draken's got the AWP for the first time as he heads towards long. Not going to be pushing the envelope too much in terms of aggression. He knows they're on pistols now. Hold back, use the range. This is a really nice game from him so far, so good decisions made. That's something we normally criticize him for, his in-game decision-making in terms of when to use the aggression and when not to. This is a perfect example of a good decision. Just make sure you use the advantage you're given in terms of they've got pistols, you've got the long-range sniper. Let's make sure that's the case when you go for the kills.
Rez, great timing on his peak with the Carby. And then just waits with the red flag held for the bowl. Charging was MSL. He gets taken down. Just 3 to find. Rez will retreat to the site because he did get dinked. And taken to 6 HP. I've been watching toward long. Smokes will come in. I know they're going to be arriving any second. Draken actually hits the shot, not Dennis, but both were positioned to do so, and both would have sufficed. Pretty straightforward round, really. Rez made easy work at the start to make sure they didn't go down a man and didn't have to respond or react. That's usually when things get out of hand against pistols. 5-0. We get back to the gun rounds, and no kills yet for Volda or Kierby.
That's true. Early days, though. Problem is, already a map down, and this isn't exactly great for you as of late. You're on the T side. So they'll have the full buy. Mertz brings out the AWP for the second time, I believe. We'll see whether he can get it efficiently finding kills at the side of the round. Draken will challenge this time. There's the smoke, and does almost take down Mertz there. Unlucky not to quite hit it. Looked like it was dead on to me, but Dennis will find the first kill regardless. 5 versus 4. And that was actually a really good pick. The fact you can just keep drumming it to a star player like Valder, you're staying on 0 frags, can get inside his head. But speaking of which, bullets will be going inside Get Rights and Drakens as a couple of kills come in very quickly out of nowhere. They have the advantage, but Rez has been so good this game. I can't stress that enough. Like, all his reaction plays and positional control has been very, very good. 3 versus 3, and it's up to North to get towards that B-bomb side, but look who's waiting for them. Mr. Forrest with that AK. Are they going to check this spot?
The fact that he was that blinded and he didn't actually have time to peek or a chance to almost worked in his favor, because then they thought, well, he hasn't peeked yet. Surely he's not there. They walk directly in front of him. They don't check it. He gets 2 kills for it. He'll be found immediately after, and MSL manages to at least get a bomb down at a 1 versus 2 spots out. The first player knows there'll be a rotation from the stairs. Had he hit that shot, absolutely I would have given him a chance in it. Did what he could. Bomb plant still beneficial, given that they're the max loss bonus. They're coming off of a bye. They'll hit that 34 plus 800 and should be able to force in the next round as well. But it's 6-0 for NiP.
Looking pretty solid from them. They even had a 2-man advantage there at one point North, and it still collapses. Like, the kills are coming in so quickly for like Dennis and co, not even catching them, as every time they go down, a reaction play is made. Rez in the bathrooms doing a very good job, and Dennis with a solid game as ever. 6-0, tactical pause now for North. And they will have enough money to buy. As long as you have the maximum loss bonus, the bombs going down consistently, you can keep buying, as we all know. So the AKs will come out. I think there's an AWP available for Mertz as well. But like I said, the main issue is Valder, your star player, Ronnie, they're absolute beasts. On 0 and 6, if you keep finding early kills on him, he'll get frustrated. And he's not having any impact whatsoever so far. That's perfect news. Your map up, now 6-0 up. And NiP look like they're in cruise control at this point.
Well, North is desperate. AKs plus the AWP from Mertz. Again, they got the full maximum bonus, if you will, at 4,200 with the bomb, so certainly benefited their buy and gave them a bit more utility across the board as well. Look at Rez. Not only has he been reactive, he's being proactive. Beyond your traditional pick spot on top of the bench, he's all the way to the fountain. Now, it doesn't give much cover should they go, the other way. And he also has to read which side is a threat first. Great shot onto KRB. No response yet from Mertz. Molotov, he was hoping would hold KRB at bay. Smartly, he pushes through it. It takes him to 44, but he gets the kill in return.
That's true. So worth it, I would say. But yes, 2 players very low now. And number 7. Still, I guess a slight advantage for North since it's 4 and 4, but those low HP players, I wouldn't really say that. We'll see what happens though. Draken's still in the AWP. It's Rez that's gone down, but he did find the frag. Less than a minute here. In terms of remaining utility, we've got 3 smokes, a couple of flashbangs, now 2 smokes, as one of them is expended towards A, and they'll make their way towards the B-bomb side. This looks like a contact play, if I'm honest. The fact that 4 players are all towards the monster side, they're just going to try and walk in. So contact, in a very sense of the word, is just you go in until you are spotted like that, then everyone hits W and makes their way through. But a great flashbang from the CTs allows Forrest to line them up. Can he get more than 2? Not quite. Mertz does hit a very nice shot there, but still 30 seconds remaining. A lot of pressure here towards the T side. Draken though, first response on the AWP. Does he even go in for this? If he's smart, he waits for his teammate to come back, and you can see it's Dennis who's coming in with the AK-47. So they can wait, exactly. Draken's done a very good job not to overcommit. Oh, he's spamming towards short as well. He knows where Kiabi is. And now Draken probably get a bit closer to the site and start shutting down short. They've got 1 flash to deal with the area. They can pretty much guarantee that's where he is. Draken confirms it. Great stuff from NiP. This is a really good showing so far.
Solid showing, and North not showing anything that they showed yesterday. Because yesterday it looked very organized, looked very disciplined. Their money management was great. Their Mirage game was solid. Today they're not at all in it on overpass, which is NiP's pick, but not at all in it. 0 kills, 7 deaths for Volda, who's normally one of the star players on North. And NiP all over them at the start of the rounds and even after the bomb's planted. They've got great reads, good awareness, and great team communication and timing. The last 2 versus 2 was emphasis on that. So back to pistols once more for North. Even with the bonus and the bomb down, they'll elect to only go for pistols and armor, so mid-round buy.
Is it looking too good, is it? North still Without a frag on Valda, he's gone for the 007. And Dennis will get the first kill, and every interaction I'm seeing right now is just going in NiP's favour. There's not really been many frags at all for the North squad. See whether they can bring this one back at all, but this round won't be theirs. Looks like a clean sweep coming in. Just Mertz the Deagle. 8-0 found. Great shot by Forrest. Finish things off. Rez, once again, Matt, 12-2. Another fantastic showing by him. Draken, 9-2. Same story for Forrest. Dennis, 7-4. 3-3 for Get Right. MSL, the very top. And that's, not to sound rude, but that's bad news if MSL is at the top of your scoreboard with all the talent you have in this team. He's supposed to be the brains of the operation. You want your AZs, your Kiabis, your Valdas at the top. They're all at the bottom right now. It's MSL and Mertz who are 1-2, and MSL's at the top of 5. Valda now 0-8, Kiabi 2-8, AZ 3-8. So really not looking good. This could be a game before this half's already done. They'll have another bye here. This is pretty much, they don't win this, I'd say that's going to be the 2-0 for me. We'll see.
So Forrest getting very aggressive, knowing that there'll be guns up again this round surely. Has to back away, and it might finally be an overstep from NiP that's going to cost them. Get Right, though, immediately capitalizes by way of flames on the damage that his teammate had previously done. The problem is they don't account for short as a result of all of that, and he's able to get the kill. Look at the aggression from NiP on the flank. However, Mertz has read it. And now they have something to work with. Forrest, I have to say, was very optimistic going up Monster. That nade's going to just barely go far enough. And Mertz to go down. AZ to step out. Forced by the flames, but I think he arrived a little bit sooner than Rez was hoping. So Draken, Harry Potter. He'll hold from the window and just try and save his gun and take further damage to North. Might get caught out. He's backed up enough that he'll see the stare, but can he react in time? Certainly can.
Well, that's a nice pick for him to find. Sure, they give the round up. B attack actually works out for North for once, but there's plenty of money on the NiP side. Every kill they get against North players there, even when the round's done, is beneficial. I think the other player went down to the bomb blast there. I'm not sure. I thought there was 2 players alive for NiP. Either way, it's just Draken that survives. 8-1. That's the loss bonus gone now though for North. They need to be very careful here. They lose this one. The reinvestment, Valda, $100. Kiabi, $200. The other guy's hovering around 2k. If you lose this, you only get 1,400 to the next. There ain't a buy there. So they need to make sure they either get the bomb down here or players survive if they lose the round. That's of course if they don't win it. We'll see. 4 AKs, AWP. 2 players survived in the previous round, and Draken's actually challenging at the very start here.
Just to note as well, Volda, even though they won a round finally, still doesn't have a kill on the board at 0-8. Mertz starts it off. MSL adds to the total. They lose Kiarbi in the middle. Rez the one to get the kill. Volda will smoke off lower and then back away. They're going to rotate over toward B instead, and Forrest and Get Right, the old guard, are in that site. But given they don't have the information, they're getting ready to rotate, meaning they're going to go very passively toward the jungle position, allowing an entrance and likely a plant for North. Get Right's got other ideas, goes in late. Oh, too soon to arrive up the ramp as MSL wasn't fully blinded. He was slightly forward of the flash. It would have been a brilliant play if Get Right could have found both. Instead, it's North to find back-to-back rounds.
Well, there we go. That's much better by North, seeing a bit of a weakness towards B potentially, as they're going for the defaults at the start, bringing things down to an equal trade or maybe a man advantage. And at that point, they'll be going towards B. With the execution, you can see they've got the Molotovs, and they seem to have an idea of how NiP are playing. Get Right caught out there, and it will be 2 rounds in a row now. And a double up set up for the first time from the Ninjas. So it'll be Forrest and Draken to run with that. 3 and 4s, of course. This is the last of the Swedish cash. We'll see whether it works out for him.
Pray for Volda.
Yeah, he's having a rough time.
Pixel gap to watch.
Oh, Get Right's pushing.
Expect to get a kill there because he wants to see if anyone's going to go through the underpass. They haven't yet. They smoke him off. And you're right, Get Right is pushing. They have no idea as well because they're so passive, expecting that. Volda's on the board. That they would push to the underpass. Get Right is in a prime position. However, they've lost a player at the underpass, and in doing so, they're going to head toward A. So Get Right can have all the map control that he wants. But if he can't do anything with it, it's ultimately irrelevant. They'll leave him there to anchor, hoping that somehow their defense is strong enough to force them back toward B. Draken, he missed a lot of shots yesterday on Train. Can't get into that habit again this time around as he falls to Kiarbi, but Forrest and Rez holding true on the site. Get Right is now the last alive. He's got to rotate all the way on the back lines, a 1 versus 3, and it might become 3 straight rounds for North.
I think it almost certainly is here. That's some key misses from Draken towards middle there. Usually inside his wheelhouse to pick those ones up. You could see the disappointment on his face when as soon as he missed it through the camera. He knew that could be very detrimental to the squad. Misses that, they collapse on the site, and it will be Get Right left in an impossible situation. So to be holding up, and like we said, that should be the cash gone now. If Get Right saves the weapon, they've got 4,300 on Draken, 3k on Dennis, so maybe they could squeeze out a partial buy. We'll see what happens here. Number 11 though, we'll find North, it's third. So this is better now. And as you said, Valdo did burst his first frag. That was Dennis going down to the connector, so well done to him. 15 for 5 for Rez. As Get Right will survive. One of the players went down to the blast, actually, so that's a bit of an issue for North. As we get into a force buy, but looks of things, it will be Draken who could buy the orb. That's pretty much all he gets, and it's not as bad as I thought it would be. They'll still get 3 rifles out here. Get Right could drop 1 weapon. So it's an MP9 for Rez. That's the main compromise here. A couple of pairs of our helmets, so still winnable. It's going to take a bit of a stronger performance from Draken, though. Can't afford to make any misses here.
Forrest firing through the boards toward the short pipe. AZ comes out after the silence arrives. Shot stop, and AZ goes back to spray at the monster as well. Rez with the MP9. Playing bathroom connector, no exception this round as well, and I suspect the MP9 will be tested within the next, I would say even 10 seconds. I was going to say 20, but they're already on the charge toward long. Good response frag from Mertz to Draken, having lost Kirby just before. Apparently my prediction of further advance toward that MP9 is wrong, because they're going to back off with that frag and go back over toward B. So you said it, they thought they had identified a weakness on B, and they're hoping that the weakness will continue to be rotations out of the site. Get Right. He wants to surf himself up silently. He's got to be quick about doing it because he's not into the corner at all and completely blind. So a massive misplay, arguably, from Get Right's point of view. And not only that, Forrest was fully blinded and on fire behind the barrels. They absolutely check it this time. They've already made that mistake before in the North camp, and it's going to be 4 straight rounds, so they are absolutely closing the gap, and NiP is going to start feeling the pressure.
This is actually looking much more promising, because goes to show you it's never over. Even when you're 8-0 down, that's 4 rounds in a row now, even after losing the first pick. North, once again, bullying that B bonsai man. That's where they're seeming to find most of the success. They've got a decent execution there. It's Get Right, who can't seem to post a massive amount of frags when they fully commit. He's on 5 and 6 right now, so definitely seems to be the weaker part of the map. Historically, back in the days where Freiburg exists used to play, so obviously having to change things out completely, maybe not feeling 100% confident at that point, but yeah, that's where North are finding almost all of their success so far. As we'll see Rez save the AWP, so it won't all be lost for the next round. With the 4th stage loss bonus, they can probably get the CZs and armor, but North right back in this one. If they can get 5-6 rounds, it's actually quite promising, all things considered. Remember, this is NiP's pick on the CT side. So Rez will hand over the orb to Draken. We'll see whether this will work out for him at all, and there will be a pause. I think that's a good time to call it as well. Peter, for anyone who's not aware, was the replacement for Threat after he was there for, what, about 2 years maybe? A little bit less. And he was part of the squad that won the major in 2014, many moons ago. But I think that's what they're going for. He worked out before. Let's give him another go when we're in a little bit of a disarray here with the current lineup. Also to support Dennis, who has been an in-game leader before, I think, for when he was in, was it G2 Kingwin, that lineup?
Ooh, yes, maybe. Yep.
I think that's when he was the in-game leader for a little bit. Maybe I'm getting that wrong.
He did a little bit for Fnatic at a period too, did
Maybe
he not?
that's what I'm thinking of instead, yeah.
That would have been more recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure for Fnatic after the Pronax era.
Sure.
When they were kind of running with the 5 stars, that was successful for a period.
Well, there we go. It will be the partial buy.
But I think he in-game led after that, though, so either way, I seem to recall. Don't know the exact dates. Feel free to let us know. Draken forced off the angle at bench, wanted to go for the pick through the smoke toward the stairs, couldn't do it. So the AWP had to be assertive. Still has to be. But the first attempt foiled. Dennis will get up toward the short pipe. AZ still waiting by Monster. With his AK-47. Would love for NiP to get aggressive. And a lot of noise made inside of that mid-stairwell connector. So Dennis knows they're there. They are there. He wants his teammate to assist him from the bags. Tries to. Can't do much with it. Most damage, actually, so far in the round, rolled into the back of the head of MSL to his teammate. Still, though, the AWP is up and in the hands of Draken, and he's gone behind the pillar. They've gone all in on B, and perfect time to bring up the minimap and show you why that is a problem. For those of you with eyes, I don't need to explain it, because they'll go back over to A with that information. And if you don't have eyes, because we're inclusive here, it's KRB pushing through A.
That's going to be another save. North looking much better here. 5 players survive, and the AWP will stay in the hands of Draken, but maybe not for long. AZ looking poised to take him down, but unfortunately can't find the double kill. Bomb to go off certainly now, and it's North for their 5th round, so great recovery, all things considered. MSL hunting for these last few frags, and a miss from Draken might end his life, but actually sets Get Right up for the alley-oop there. He'll take an AK-47, max and loss bonus, and this is actually a bit of a hard punish for North. Draken seems to be aware that Kiabi's there as well. Takes him. So 3 kills from him in total. But to be fair, like, we're coming to the end of the half. There's still plenty of cash for North. Like, those few kills don't really have that much of a detrimental effect going forward. And here's Valda, 395 damage dealt in the first half so far. I guess at this point he had the fact he hasn't got many kills. And Rez with 1,600. So yes, 2 very different storylines in that respect. Round 14, back to the single AWP setup. Actually quite a successful little excursion from NiP towards the end of that round. In fact, to get 3 kills and managed to pick up an AK for Get Right with the maximum loss bonus. Let's go faster. B execution coming in from North. And Forrest was boosted, but he's been wall-banged to oblivion there, down to 36 HP. Whatever setup they had in mind has been pushed off. I think they know the B-bomb site has been a bit of an issue for them, so trying to move things up a little bit. They're going for the 3-man stack here. Not sure this is the right time to do it. Time will tell. They are going to be clear. But get no real intel apart from, I guess no one's there. And all of North are rotating back towards the mid-area and connector.
The stack is used fairly frequently, but doesn't always yield a kill. The fact that it takes 3 men means that you almost have to hope the only player, the first player going toward B, goes through the short tunnel. If they walk Monster, you're kind of giving away a lot. Not going to be tested. Good news is, with the aggression toward A thus far, they're closer or shorter distance to the stairs for the rotation. If Rez can get a kill here and persuade them otherwise, though, that stack becomes extremely powerful because they'll rotate, presumably, through connector. So, unfortunately, they pick it up on the boost early because Rez does find the kill. Flash out. 22 seconds at this point, though. It's likely they'll still commit to A with the refrag, especially from MSL, and Kiabi already working up from long. He nails the shot toward the dumpster, but no one on the receiving end of it. They actually were already passed toward the truck as Get Right sprays in, but can't get the bomb in its default plant capacity. The smoke down, and they'll escape. A further kill for MSL. With 5 rounds in a row for North, I thought, and you said it, NiP were walking away with this game. It's suddenly a contest, and NiP are feeling the pressure. Get Right can't hit the shot to KRB, but Dennis will follow it up with a slightly better angle from further away. And then Get Right, with that room available to him, is able to walk out. But Mertz, unrelenting with the AWP, leaves it to Forrest, who has one of his own. To, give up. I was going to say try and make a miracle work with the time that was available, but they're going to have to concede, and it goes 8-6 from 8-0.
Definitely does. It will be the round going in favor of North once again. It was actually looking quite promising there with Rez. Good flashbang towards middle. Starts spraying them all down, but they all jump in towards the corners. He can't do anything about it. Gets 1 kill, traded out by MSL. They unload on towards the A side, so Forrest can't hit the shots. And he just has to fall back and save the AWP. It's the final round. I can't believe I'm saying it. 6 rounds in a row from 8-0 North are back in this one. Undoubtedly so. And it's going to be a bit of a rough outcome for NiP. It was looking so promising. They're currently a map up, as you can see at the top of your screens. 2-0 would put them in the playoffs. Third map on the cards now, which is going to be Inferno if required. Might have to be at this point. We'll see. Good shot from Kiabi. My God, absolutely batters Rez in towards that connector.
So, drinking. Bathrooms. Dennis. Dead. Was in the stairs. That was going to be the pinch play toward the front side of the little birthday party where Fallen and Chris were celebrating theirs. Any birthdays today? You said it was birthday season.
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't really looked. But Draken will be taken down in the bathrooms. 4 versus 2 again. This is going to be a 7-round kill streak for North here. This is pretty unbelievable. It's not every day you see those kind of turnarounds. But there we go. Forest can still save the day.
Oh, can he ever? Fake plant, though. Don't overcommit. Oh! My goodness, Forest. And what a reaction as well to find the 4th. That's what it takes for an NiP to finally get another round. Impressive as well because he's not the primary hopper, but he looked very comfortable with the weapon.
1 HP he had at the end of that round. That was unbelievably brilliant from Forest. Just like you said, this is what it takes to get them around after losing 6 in a row. This shouldn't have been his. His teammate went down there, and I thought, okay, he's got what? 40 HP, he's going to get sprayed in the back. Mertz hits him, but down to 1 HP, and Forest gets a no-scope to finish things off there. Fantastic round from him, and that should rekindle NiP's...
Chris looks pleased with that. He had a little smirk on his face.
Yeah, wow.
Admirable in his eye.
That's a massive round for them to win. That was stolen away for sure. And just before halftime as well, best time to post one of those sort of rounds. Leave North kicking themselves, and they can stew over it for a couple of minutes before we get into the next half. But I will say this, 8-0 down to 9-6. That ain't bad at all. So we'll play the North to give himself at least a competitive chance of closing this one out and taking us to Inferno. Pistol will be absolutely everything here for both teams. North, as usual, 5 sets of armor. They're one of the few teams that consistently does that, doesn't go for the kit. On the other side, NiP with a smoke and a flashbang, and 1 PT50 for Draken, actually.
You made a good point. It's not every day you see a turnaround like that, more so because the rounds before didn't indicate to me that there was even a chance that would happen, and that NiP was so dominant for so long in this game, and North's given themselves a fantastic chance at 9-6. That should have been 8-7. I'll say it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and if they had a hand grenade, they might have killed Forrest that round, to be honest. But as it stands, 1-man advantage for North to still take control by winning the pistol on the CT side. The play for NiP. Kiarbi doesn't really care. He's just going to take heads off in the bathrooms. Only gets 1. Defense is rotated, so 3 versus 4, all of them on the site. I would have expected that Dennis saw that. Still manages the kill somehow when he snaps back. And Rez is going to plant in the smoke. MSL's not going to be aware of this. He's going to wrap the other side. They've got to be ready for that wrap to be a possibility, and they're not because they get caught out by Truck. AZ distracts, and we're into a one-on-one. MSL versus Rez, and MSL's had good pistols throughout this series so far, but Rez one-ups him this time.
That was really nice from Rez. What a game. What a day he's having. As that's a huge pistol round for them to win after losing 6 rounds in a row. They finally get a couple in their favour. They will be double digits now for NiP. The bomb planted. And there's a reaction from North. We're going to see 5 Deagles, but I went into this in depth yesterday. The fact that North are one of my favourite teams because they never force one in the CT. Second round, they get Deagles out and to keep their money strong, knowing they have to close out this game.
So Kiarbi has armor on the Deagle. The rest are armorless. Mac 10s. Mac 10s become more popular.
It really has. Yep. It's up there now. Pretty much every game or every team will use it at some point. Very mobile weapon. Great against players without armor, which is exactly what you see now.
Horrible glitch in the animation.
They fixed that in the recent
Did they?
update.
Okay,
Yep.
I thought I saw a rumor that they did, but I wasn't really paying attention, so I seem to remember some threads about it or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's been dealt with. Not everything else has, I'll say that much, but that one has.
That's a lineup if I've ever seen one. A more potent weapon, and that might have been a quick 3K, but they managed to stay alive a little bit longer than that. Whether or not they'll do anything with that life, yet to be determined. Daisy wasn't in the lineup, but he certainly hits a great shot. 1 versus 5, down to 4. With a deagle. This is one of those plays where you just say a ridiculous line, and then when it works, that line sounds amazing. Like the Big Apple and Snacks is hungry.
A lot of people have been dropping the Big Apple line this event. Every time Snacks is on the server.
Ah.
I think it has to be a Big Apple performance this time, I've heard.
Oh, okay.
So you made a bit
like,
of...
imagine I said that when he just died.
Yeah, that's the thing. You took such a gamble on that one. If he just died, like, oh, that's gone. Yeah, that was pretty much perfect, wasn't it?
Luck.
I'm just in the background going, wah, wah. That's all I contribute to it, but I was there. But either way, it will be the full eco for North, one of those rounds where...
It's when you just switch it. It's the Big Apple and Snacks is dead.
And he's dead now, of course. But yeah, that was probably the coolest moment we had. Maybe the Guardian knife on Train when he knifed the diffuser. Remember that one?
That was unreal.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. Like, just when he thought he can't do it, it's over, he knifes him. Like, that was kind of nuts. I'm trying to think of the most like iconic plays we've done. There must have been one in that Navi Luminosity game on this map.
There's lots. One of my other ones that I really liked was Get Right's flank on Inferno. I think it was against G2.
Okay, I don't remember that.
It's not a big deal. There's some fun ones.
Obviously, the Guardian 5 versus 1 on overpass.
Yeah, that was just disgusting.
That was crazy. The Guardian's done a lot.
We had a simple 1 versus 5 in Cobblestone. It wasn't as hype, though, because he rotated. There was a lot of time in between.
Yeah, just picking them off one by one. Speaking of which, this doesn't look impossible for North. Like, it's very unlikely to win this, but the PT-50 does significant damage towards Forest. Let's see if Dennis can handle this. Should be fine now. Let's get digged up in the process. Those teammates. Watching the flanks, presumably. Clean sweep for NiP, looks things now. 12-6. And remember, North did not force by there, so the first gun round is actually quite promising for them. They get the orbs out. They'll have defuse kits. M4s, utility. Shouldn't be an issue. I don't think they've actually bought a kit at all, though. So they've opted for the orb. Sure, they've got all the M4s, all the utility, but not a single kit. That could be an issue. I would have given up 2 flashbangs for a defuse kit on at least one player. We'll see whether that's... It's going to be a problem here. Like, Valdo especially got the HE. Maybe get rid of that. He had $50 extra, so you'd need a bit more than that. But either way, get rid of the HE, maybe buy the smoke. But, sorry, buy the kits. And we'll see whether he can win this round. We see a fast-paced round from NiP, considering they've got 2 MAC-10s here. This is definitely what we call a bonus round for anyone who doesn't watch too much of CS. If you manage to have very clean anti-ecos, like NiP have had 5 players surviving, then 4, you get SMGs in the first gun round, knowing that the players probably don't have helmets on the other side of the server. You can have a very fast approach. You can normally go around as a group of 5, very basic execution. Try and get that first kill. If you do, that's 13-6, knock North down to an eco, and you've got a ton of cash. These rounds can be deadly. Unlikely you win them, but as long as you get like 2 or 3 kills, maybe hopefully 4, that's going to be perfect. They'll go for the B rush here, up to 80, but look at that, this is really well held. I say that, but look at the damage inflicted. Still should be fine. Valdo's going to get this one.
No way.
That's the problem with no helmet. See what I mean?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It absolutely destroys you.
Carabee tries to do what he can. Rez finds him as well, and that is a round that they will be kicking themselves about. There was opportunity enough to actually have the man advantage, potentially even disallow the take and the bomb to be planted and go that far, but it's suddenly all Mertz and it's on the AWP, and NiP going to find a 13th round when this actually expires. Mertz just wants to hold the op at this point.
That was the MAC-10 in full force there. I didn't think it'd be that powerful, I'll be honest. Like, that looked a little bit too long range, but he hit the headshot. Running gun, that's the aim of the game with that weapon. Send it in first. If he does find an opening, not only does he get $1,200 for that, for those 2 kills he picked up, but he pretty much wins around single-handedly because they can just pounce on the bomb so quickly. There's no chance for a rotation because it's so quick and through the smoke. So that was looking great. They dropped the Molotov and they managed to get the smoke on the entrance of Monster as well. But unfortunately for North, all they save is the AWP and they're 13-6 down here. But as I always say, Matt, whenever you need the CZ to arrive, it normally does, and this is the sort of round North will probably win. It's when I'm trying to be thinking about it, why this happens so much, but I guess it's like NiP are so cautious not to lose to the CZ. They know what a big round it is, that sometimes maybe they're overcompensating in some areas of the map.
Timid.
Like, yeah, they're too timid. They get, and then North will do the exact opposite. They're super aggressive, the CZ, trying to force the issue. And there's a hit shot there by Mertz, but Draken lives to tell the tale, and so he'll go down to 17 HP.
So Forest with a Molotov out to the bathrooms, just to clear off any further angles, obviously checking the slightly less common ones with his gun, rather than wasting utility on that. Smoke down in the connector and spray into it. So they are taking their time and being cautious. That single AWP, they can consider themselves lucky to still have 5 alive, because it does a massive amount of damage on to Draken. Rez will wait, rightfully so, to find Kjaerbye, and they're still pushing toward this A site. Cautious of where that AWP might have gone, they'll reconsider.
This is looking likely to be the 2-0 at this point, but still possible to win this round for the North boys. You can see they've done considerable damage towards Draken and Dennis. As they walk slowly in towards B. You can see they're not going towards short. That's where the CTs have stacked themselves up. Dennis really destroys one, but Mertz is here. This could get messy. Like I said, these rounds are always the ones that go wrong. And it's going to be the P250s, it's going to be the CZ, easy with 3, and NiP put into a very uncomfortable position. Low HP, funneled in towards the B bomb site, yep, and it's just always the rounds that seem to fall apart. So they're going into a bomb site with 6 seconds remaining, right? Do you see what I mean? That suggests they've maybe been too timid after losing a bit of damage, got the opening pick, didn't leave themselves enough time. They walk into the Lion's Den with no utility whatsoever. That's not how they would operate in a normal gun round. So like they maybe are inside their own heads a little bit after losing that damage and being too cautious.
There's definitely a need to play differently.
8 seconds, and that's when they come out.
There's a need to play differently against pistols, but people, I think, take that to an extreme and do overthink it and don't be proactive. You can still take sites. You can still take map control. Just don't do it in a way that allows them to close distance. Be cautious about taking the map control, but please do take some.
There it is, a trade at the beginning, Mertz. Starting to come to life now. Great round from him previously. Set up AZ perfectly on the side with the PT50. It's an equal trade. North do need to be careful with this one, but they have got lots of residual cash, and AZ gets another kill. This game ain't done. They'll be fighting back. That was a huge round for them. You can almost feel it was going to happen at the start. As NiP'd out, trying to get the frag back in response. It was there for Draken, just didn't anticipate him to be in the corner.
Flash was perfect, everything else was. It does give them the angle, which allows them a little bit of progress towards long, but he's alone there. It's 2-1 split for the offense right now, and NiP trying to put 2 inside of B while he'll look for picks and sell the fake. He'll use a bit more utility in his efforts in doing so. Curiously, Dennis does the same on B during that time, and they'll have known that was someone from B, so obviously they're split up. A fake is fine, but not if 2 people are doing it. Still, the advancement works so much as to rotate them off of B, but not AZ, and his patience pays off. Good little position, I have to say, to get the shot toward Dennis, and Voldus not gone far either, so Rez to try and clutch it back, can't do so. 13-8, and you're right, North is definitely back in this game.
Absolutely so. There is money available for NiP, but that's 2 rounds in a row now where NiP had huge advantages. And the AWP comes out again. They will have one more full buy, but 13-8. Sure, it sounds close, but it doesn't matter if you can't find any more rounds after that. So we'll see whether NiP can hold their nerve. Maybe take a pause at this point. You've lost 2 rounds, one of which was a bit of a disaster. You timed it out against an eco. They actually lost due to the time at that point. One player survived and then went down with no money. So they're not going to go for the pause. Draken has no armor, just to note. They haven't got a full array of utility, but good nades at the start. Didn't do much damage as I thought they would. Kjaerbye will fall back with those. Down to 78 points of health. This is a slow default now. Waiting for a change of pace from North, perhaps. See whether they can have any sort of aggressive tendencies at the very beginning. I don't see any, to be honest. There's actually a very tentative setup. 4 players on the A side of the map. MSL holds alone towards B. Maybe AZ's up in heaven, actually. Yeah, he is. So he's the fast rotator at this point. MSL being the anchor at the side.
Molotov bounced straight down into the cubby. Flash over next, so they can advance and see if anyone's retreating from that position. And blind them while they try to preempt the fact that the push would come through. Doesn't work out, but that certainly will for Valda, the man who started off slowly in this game. Gets a shot through the boards. You'll have seen the shadow rather than the lag of Rez and rely on his teammate to find the angle, and AZ does exactly that. He too shuts down the sandbags. Good play, AZ, to chase down the retreating players in Monster. It's quite a long corridor.
Wow.
Knew he had the time to get there, and another obliteration served by North. We go 13-9.
Yeah, they're looking great, aren't they? CT side.
Looking all right.
Yeah, it's getting some promising results. AZ's having a game in the B bomb side. They can't seem to break him down whatsoever. And NiP will take the tactical boards at this point. It is starting to get a little bit worrisome for them, as can see 3 rounds in a row against them. 13-9. Quite similar scenes to Nuke. It felt like NiP were completely in the driving seat, but then North started to close the margin. As we'll get into round 23 here. There's Mertz on the end. Like we said, his pretty much rookie season here. Brought up from the academy team. There's Valda getting a nice wall bang. He started off very disappointingly, didn't he? He was on 0-9, I think. He's on 5-15 now. So
0-8.
Yeah, 0-8. So not perfectly bringing it back, but still positive frags now, and it's never too late. So if he starts turning it on, that could be a problem. So we'll just have a partial buy here from NiP. CZ's 4 of those, 3 of which have armor. Draken taking the full eco for the All Prophecy.
So pistols for NiP and double digits available potentially for North. Remember, it all started for North with pistols of their own and a single AWP to go along with them. That's somewhat similar, aside from that AWP for NiP. Very different characteristics when you're using pistols on the T side, however. You can't set traps. Angles and crossfires. You've got to be assertive and walk into those that are covered off by AWPs and AKs, as it appears, inside of the A site.
Well, there is a chance for NiP to cause a bit of damage here. Plant would be enough, I would say, with the loss bonus coming up to its maximum points. But if they can make things very uncomfortable with the CZs, break through the initial smoke of a flashbang, that's when the CZ does its best work. Obviously, close range, a running gun, that nade could be quite devastating. There's quite a lot of damage, so is the incendiary, so they might not even get close to the side before they start getting gunned down. There's the first kill from Kiabi, good shot, and it should be absolutely fine here for North. They're hitting everything, and there it is, no bomb planted. Double digits for North. This isn't going to be as easy as we thought. Remember, NiP were up 8-0. Put it back to 9-6, but still, North look like they could actually take this second map. Another buy for NiP, haven't really changed things up strategically. That's why Dennis is called for the pause in. Needs a little bit of help from Pitta. It was said in an interview in the build-up for this event that Pitta's now the in-game leader. No, I take that with a pinch of salt. He obviously can't do all the calling.
Yeah, mid-round, especially.
Mid-round. So I'm assuming they'll take pause now. They'll take his advice and do what he says. At that point, surely it's down to Dennis at the mid-round stages to coordinate them. I guess everyone probably helps out, especially Forrest and Get Right. Veterans will be giving their 2 cents pretty much all the time, helping him out. But you can see at these points, this is when the in-game leader is worth his weight in gold. Like, what's the strat? What's the big call that's going to find us around? What's going to get us a plant at least? What's going to set a player like Forrest up for a clutch? What can we do with that? Rez having a great game. He's got 25 frags. How can we make the most of him? Where's he going to be able to get an opening for us? Something like that. We'll see. It's Draken on the orb, so probably base it around him and go for another default here. That's what's a scary point. It's still have 3 rounds in the bag, but they'd like to be a little bit closer. Molotov towards short from Get Right there, and the rest of his teammates head towards middle. You see that missed incendiary from the CTs. That's actually designed to go towards the T steps. That ain't happening. So the women will come towards, make their way towards this area. And no aggression once again from the CTs. There's 2 players in the bathrooms. One watching the mid entrance and the other watching towards long. There it is, MSL.
So smoke in. Jenkins able to push up ever so slightly on the back of that. Dennis not far beside as we see him on the right. Waits in connector. Carby's trying to take advantage of these smokes, knowing that they've likely gone by, and that works to perfection as he gets res as well. Smoked off now by his teammate in turn. Big gap in that, but it's still enough to retreat, and that's all they want.
That's exactly all they want. Just get out of there. You got a 5-on-3. That wasn't supposed to happen. I thought he was good for 1 kill, then res a little bit slow to pull the trigger to get the reply. It's now a 5 versus 3. They'll boost Draken up to see what's available to him, but if North are smart, they don't challenge at all. They run that clock down. Look, it's 30 seconds. No one needs to give anything up here. Make them work for it. Maybe even save their weapons at this point. This ain't possible with the looks of things to me. There it is. That was a bit of a risk from himself, but he lives. So 20 seconds will go towards B. This is a desperate attempt. No way this works, I'm afraid. For NiP fans, they'll run up, and as long as AZ gets 1, that's round over. She will, and that's going to be the round. So let's have to desperately find at this point. And there it is.
Antagonizingly slow, and we are within 2 rounds. It all started with pistols. Remember, North started slow in the first half and had an incredible comeback that it almost shouldn't have happened the way that NiP was playing so well in the start. And it took an incredible play from Forrest just to get a 9th round on the board. And then on this half, NiP extended from the start. 1-4, putting the first gun. And then let it all fall apart. Back to pistols once more. Could have a 1-round game on our hands. Draken has get up on top of the flower pots successfully, and with a deagle, there's a chance that that can happen.
There is a chance.
I was going to say, if his crosshair placement was good enough, there's a chance he'll get a shot at that range. It works out exactly in that way. He's also picked up the gun, but Kjærby is wise to that. Saw the gun be removed because it's an op. It sticks out quite forward. And he's able to respond immediately, knowing that he's close and wouldn't have it drawn. It's also an op, so it would have been a hard shot to hit. But it's still a 2 versus 2. Kjærby will put Forrest down. It's get right on the flank. Are they aware? It's get right on a flank. Are they aware? That's the hard part. You have to consider that this man loves to lurk.
Yeah, I think with that incendiary, they know exactly what's going on now. Kjærby's playing out of his mind on the CT side. He looks very efficient. 15 HP for now. Get right, certainly capable of winning this. Will I think he'll do it? Probably not. He hasn't been given any chances to find an opening pick quickly. Kjærby probably won't challenge at all until he goes to the plant. They're watching the bomb. It's a very awkward spot. He has to actually drop down to try and get it. You can see AZ's watching that. There's no chance for him. They peek together. And Get Right knows he can't be too upset at that. There's almost no chance of him winning it the way it was all set up.
He did get a kill on his way through as well, which was foretelling.
So there it is. It will be money available for an NiP, but maybe not the map. This is looking quite worrying. They haven't actually done anything since the pistol. They got the 3-0 with that bonus round victory as well, on round number 4. That's all they've done. And the T-side's gun rounds haven't been too great. And MSL's called a pause. Probably a good time to do it as well. Get NiP doubting themselves. There's something different about to come in. They'll discuss their options. Ave is the coach of North. Replaced Rugger, who now resides in Optic.
With Cajun B.
And Config.
And Config.
Who are former North players, for context, for anyone who maybe doesn't follow the scene as closely.
Or our new viewers. We have lots of those.
Yeah.
Plenty of those. I would almost say that probably 50% of our viewership is within the last 2 years. That could be. That might be a bit high.
Well, we'll see whether this pause is beneficial at all for North. They're the ones that called it, but they've had now 6 rounds in a row. Again, they managed to do, I think it was 6 in a row on the first half as well. So very strange and peculiar game in that sense. NiP have these tremendous starts of the half, and it all seems to come crashing down. I'm not sure whether to praise North or criticise NiP at this point. Either way, it'll be Draken flashed in towards long to check that area out. It's the same setup the North were presenting before. MSL watching long. Kiabi in those bathrooms need to be very careful they don't feed Kiabi. He's not missing many shots at all here. He looks through the smoke. They'll go down towards that connector very loudly. So see whether they can maybe bait out a reaction for Kiabi. Okay, Dennis, that will do.
Yep. Takes two. Valda has to back away. No other choice. This time it's not a retreat with the advantage. It's a retreat for recovery. Forest waiting as well in below is going to catch off the rotation of AZ. And as we snapped away, Rez inevitably found the kill of the player retreating from long. So we find ourselves in a 1 versus 4 with Mertz. Finally, NiP have found a means of working back into this game. Bomb planted. Mertz will try and do damage any way that he can, because it will be a reset for NiP.
Good stuff from Dennis, but not sure how sustainable that is going towards middle. Hope he gets a double spray down towards mid. At least it does buy them another round. They're 14-12 up now. 4 players surviving as well. Removes the loss bonus to make sure this one's clean. Mertz doesn't really matter if he dies or not because they've got so much money. They're set for the rest of this half really. 12, 13k actually on AZ. 10 for Kiabi. 14-12. NiP post their first round after losing 6 in a row. It's the default towards the connector, 1 flash. And that setup we talked about for North to shut down with 1 quick and concise spray from Dennis. That was his 15th kill. So there we go.
Mertz still waiting for an opportunity from the bathrooms. It's a halfway house. Not fully aggressive, but certainly not resting inside of the site either. He will do so now. I take that back. Okay, fair enough. I thought he was going to rotate to park side. They might try and transfer a rifle over into that position instead, but he'll still watch out in the front on his own. So get right. Will slowly clear in the underpass, and in doing so, allows his teammates more confidence in their position so as not to be flanked, and they'll start to use utility to clear A. Mertz knows well that Dennis is inside of the bathrooms given the trajectory of the nade and makes no mistake. And rather than going back to the site, they'll hold firm. Because that's why. They don't have long. Mertz gets a great angle onto Rez. Get Right's the next to go down, and MSL just waited for those shots to come in before he peaked, and that takes the bomb, and we've got reset potential drawn all over NiP, and I think it's going to be a bigger problem in that they're about to lose the AWP as well. Draken does manage. Oh, no! Sometimes you got to lick the stamp and send it. Well received from MSL, but it's still a 1 versus 3, and he's going to get taken down.
Well, that was actually quite weak from NiP, I have to say. They had a nice build-up to the default, but the execution, the finish, didn't quite land it. As you can see, Mertz not really challenged too hard at all. He's in the bathrooms waiting for that first pick. There's walk into his crosshair. At that point, you can hear them all executing towards long. All 4 players there. Turned around as one by one they get picked off. He takes the aggro. MSL finishes off with the spray down. And it's North there. They actually don't look too challenged there at all. This will be potentially the end of the game if NiP give this one up. Because they'll have to eco or force buy, and North could go for the full reverse sweep here. 14-13. There's really not much to work with. They've got a Galil. They have got the AKs out short, but look at the lack of grenades. Draken has got open armor. This is definitely the last of their cash as they desperately try and win. Round number 28 here, and at least it's guarantee overtime to release some of this pressure.
So Mertz again getting to the front of bathroom. He's been more impressive in this game.
Yes, yeah, very good.
Last game, both ops didn't really. In fact, the sets, I think they were even 7-13. 7 kills in the AWP, excuse me. 13 kills overall and 13 deaths, I think, for both. Something along those lines. They were completely symmetrical. Difference is Draken's team was winning and Rez was doing a lot of the work. He didn't have to do as much. Mertz just didn't really get much going when he was on the CT side. This map, certainly far more beneficial. MSL downed by Rez. This was reset potential last round, which means certainly They're up against the ropes this time, facing a tie, and therefore potentially map point for North. So extremely important round for NiP, and Rez starts it off very, very well.
We'll see what happens here. Opening pick for Rez. They haven't capitalized on it just yet, but that's a key scout to take. Luckily, Mert's still here, though, alive and kicking with the AWP. That shot could cost him his life. I think he's shortly done for now as Get Right gets 2. That's going to be map and indeed series point for NiP. Well done to Get Right. You can see that they're floundering for these kills. Like it's not as confident as you usually see from them. They know they're struggling right now. But they get it. A big sigh of relief there. Locking in that 15th round is a huge deal. The fact they take all 5 players down as well means the money won't be ideal for North here. This is as good a chance of any to close it out. Won't be as pretty as they're hoping for. Remember, they're 8-0 up. But MSL is just on a pistol. Mertz does have the AWP, but 3 players without helmets. Just go to show they're not fully comfortable with this one. So 1 player without a weapon. Surely this is where NiP close it out. They've at least guaranteed overtime. It felt like this was going to be a clean sweep from North after winning 6 rounds in a row and then resetting NiP. But they bounce back and see whether they can close it out right here, right now. Both of these maps have seen pretty much all the rounds. As Mertz misses another, goes down to 11 HP. He has been so good so far. You can see how high his sense is. He tries to move back. And now Draken waits for his chance. Great shot by him. Poised as he waits for AZ to cross back over. Hits the shot. Difficult one as well. You can see how camouflaged he was as he went back. But takes him down. Mert's already tagged. MSL trying to go for the trade and try and get the weapon, I think.
Ooh, that's pretty good positioning from Dennis. Because if Kjærby didn't get spotted, might have been able to push all the way through and catch them off. So NiP slow the pace. Cost them 1 round against the pistols. This time they know there's guns and they're being smart to their approach. Kjærby is still evasive. Question is, with 5 HP, can he be persuasive? Because it's hard to have impact beyond 1 kill, and he's almost going to need multiple in that position, especially when you consider that Vald is on 18, Mertz is on 11, and Kjærby's unaware of the fact that they're actually going toward A. He's rotated back, expecting they've rotated through the underpass and gone away while he pushed up. And NiP might be able to close this in 2. An advancement to the playoffs is the reward in doing so. Whereas North will fall to the 2-2 bracket. Await to see who they play when the draw happens again this evening.
One more smoke for Draken here. That should guarantee it. He can get that down, but it might not have the chance. Dennis drops with nothing. They're all going down 1 by 1, man. This is an absolute disaster from NiP. Still recoverable here. It's up to Forrest, a safe pair of hands, as he does get the first frag. And surely closes this one out at this point. A couple more bullets will do it. And it's up to Mertz, who can't hit that nose scope. Certainly not a comfortable victory there in the end, Matt. That was their game. It felt like they were running away with it on both maps. But it's scrappy finishes, and you can see a sigh of relief overall. That's the headline of that game. That wasn't a comfortable win.
And it's a weird thing, because I want to sit here and say, hey, credit to NiP. They played so well in so many rounds. You know, Rez looked great there. But they also, it was almost like they played really, really well, and then they went, hey, you know what? We're being a little bit too mean to you. Here, have a gift. Get back into this game. It was the first half they're up 8-0, and the second half against the Pistols. I mean, 2 mistakes that really almost cost them everything.
It was that round that really stands out to me. Like, I even built it up saying that this is where teams change their mentality. They overthink things and they start to crumble a bit. If you're going into a bomb site, you've got 4 players alive against Pistols in 10 seconds. Something's gone really wrong for them. I think that really rattled them. But the headline is they are in the playoffs. They get a day off tomorrow, and it was a 2-0 victory. So we can't be too mean on them. It's just like, the way they were playing was so excellent and set the bar so high. When it came crashing down, we started to get a little bit worried for them in general.
I think as well, Threat was really good at facing anti-ecos and
he was really good at,
understanding economy management. Obviously, they've elected to go back to Pitta. Things are looking good, so you can't really argue with the results. But they have to remember those fundamentals that were given to them in those situations. Because
I think you just treat it like a gun round. You don't want to play it too differently. You just want to hold up in the default at the very beginning, wait for the aggression, then you treat it like the default, and just go for the map control. Don't try and do anything too crazy at the start.
Biggest worry, you just have to get information. The biggest worry would be walking into a stack, right? So you just have to figure that out, and if there's no stack, then yeah, play it as you, I mean, you've already got the advantage. You shouldn't have to rely on anything unorthodox.
Well, just to reiterate, North are not out of the tournament or anything like that. They now go, what, 2-2, I think it is. So
Yes.
they've got one life left either way. So if they win one more game, they're obviously through. They lose their next game, they're going to be out of the tournament. That's going to be tomorrow, the final day of the group stages where we get in an arena. So that's going to be a really fun day. I think we have 3 best-of-3s on each stream to bring you then. We've got one more tonight, though. That should be a lot of fun. But for now, I guess we'll throw it to a break and be back with the analysts at some point.
Is that the case when we go to Paula?
They haven't... Oh,
yeah, we go to Paula. It's the end of the series. Paula is ready, and he's on the floor.
Thank you, Matt. Henry, my heart broken. Anyway, a heart that's definitely not broken right now is Dennis's 2-0. Let's start off by talking about Nuke. That CT half was tremendous, but in a way quite a classic Nuke battle, so to speak. After that, they had very little room to move.
We had a pretty good read. Peter did his homework. We tried a new kind of tactic to watch teams, and it's working out for us. That's about it.
Can you explain a bit more about that with regards to what Petter had read into before the match with regards to Nuke?
It was like 2 hours before we came here. We had to sit and watch a lot of Nuke, Dust 2, Overpass, Inferno, you know. So he makes us watch all the games, and he kind of tells us what to do, what to expect, and then the opponents get kind of easy to read.
I think that's definitely something we could look into in the future when after match or something, if we've been able to see into the meetings before games when things are said and done and get a little background look on how you guys prepare. Now, moving forward into Overpass, that was a tighter map, but you got off to a good start again. However, North started to work their way back into it. I remember one round, I think they had quite a weak bye. You guys were T-sided and you attacked a site very late into the round. It's a small mistake, but something that cost you. If you remember that round or anything that you weren't too happy with, what was going on?
Sometimes we have a problem with taking map control too late, and that's what happened. We rotated late as well. I think that was the eco round, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But overall, we kind of figured they know what we do when we use nades, so we kind of did not use nades in the end, and it worked out perfectly.
And after they started creeping back into the match and evening up that scoreline, how did you reposition and readjust?
Kind of what I just said. We didn't use nades. Yeah, that's about it. We kind of did a contact place on today's site last round. They were, I think it was hiding on long, and the whole site was clear. So that's kind of what we did.
Great insight, Dennis. Well, congratulations through to the playoffs, making top 8 and day off tomorrow. Firstly, how does that feel?
Feels great. Like, people are doubting us a lot, but I think they're going to have a hard time when they play us, so feels great.
And secondly, you did it with a 3-1 scoreline. Would you be more satisfied 3-0, or does it not really register on your radar at all at this point?
Actually, I was very surprised when we play AGO. They play very differently. It's more of a pug style, and they believe in each other playing 1 by 1, and we're not used to that, so that came as a surprise. But I don't really care. We're in playoffs, so it doesn't matter.
Maybe you want a chance for revenge?
Yeah, I would like that chance, yeah.
Great. Dennis, please do go ahead and give a shout out or talk to anybody watching at home.
Yeah, to all our sponsors and everyone watching at home, keep cheering, and we will do our best to win this tournament.
Dennis, thank you very much. Really appreciated. NiP are through. 3-1 is how they finish the bracket, the group stage that we are in now. Let's head back to Trace and the guys on the desk to break everything down.